Second type of measures is semi-additive measures. And in this type of measure, we cannot summarize or aggregate our measures across all available dimensions in the fact table. For example, in this fact table, we are tracking debit and credit operation for our customers. We have customer ID, which will be linked, of course, to a customer dimension. We have operation type, which is a debit operation or a credit operation. And we have account ID and we have transaction date. In a banking system, one customer can have multiple accounts. So that's why we have account ID and we have customer ID. Our semi-additive measure here is current balance. I cannot say that total balance available now for customer ID 900 under this account is 410K because we cannot sum or aggregate this measure across customer ID and account ID because it's not logical. But I can say that for this customer, the maximum debit or credit operation was 200 as a credit operation and 100 as a debit operation. So I can do some operations, but not all available operations over this measure bear all available dimensions. I cannot do some per customer ID, but I can do maximum or minimum per customer ID per operation. So we can say semi-additive is like a limited additive measure. I cannot do all operations, but I can do a certain specific operations on this measure per available dimensions. Another example for semi-additive, if we have a fact table to track products in or out of a stock, we have here stock ID, we have transaction date, product ID, type of operation, it's in or out, and number of units. And number of units, it's a semi-additive measure. And let's see why. Because I cannot say the total available units or total available units per product is the sum of 9K plus 10 plus 15K. Or I cannot also aggregate or sum over transaction date to get all units inside our stock from a certain product by summing all number of units. I cannot do this. As we said, semi-additive is a limited additive measure, so I can say the maximum in number of units for this product in this month was 15, and the minimum in operation for this product over this transaction date or over this month was 10, and the same for out operation. But I cannot sum number of units over any of available dimensions, either over operations or over a product or transaction date or stock ID. And that's what we mean by a limited additive measure. You can do maximum or minimum, but you cannot do sum over available dimensions in the fact table.